Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6. Yep. We would never pre-record an episode either, because that is not anything that we would do. But once again, we are here with two guest stars this evening. It's wonderful. We've got good old Squirt Locker, Squirtle, and good old Mr. Pickles, and then the old classic Big Luco and the Golden Boy. Everyone say what's up.
Gang.
Yo.
Hey.
Oh, guys. Back and not better.
Back. All right, so today's topic is why we brought Mr. Pickles on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited about this topic to actually get in the insight and the background knowledge of this. It's just a whole different lifestyle, and I've been curious about it for years. I've thought about moving to it at some point, but I don't know. But we brought Mr. Pickles in.
By the way, I don't know what this is. I have not been told anything.
I love everything about what's about to happen.
Mormons and Mormonism. So, Mr. Pickles, the floor is yours. How is your the expert?
I want to hear about the secret life of the traveling underpants. All right. I guess I just intro why they think I know so much about this, and then we can go from there with questions. So I was born and raised in Utah. The vast majority of my family's Mormon. My mom's Mormon, so I grew up in the Mormon church, and then when I was in middle school, kind of raised the bullshit flag on that one, and haven't gone back since. So, but I do have a lot of knowledge on Mormons. So, just start firing questions, and we'll just
is there a membership card? Because that's what sparked this topic. We're told there's a membership card
For the temple.
Gets you exclusive access.
Have you been in the temple?
Golden Temple.
Yeah. So, not to you don't need a card to go to church, but if you want to go in the temple, yeah, you have to have a card. You get, it basically says, you do an interview, and then they're like, have you broken any of our rules? And then, I guess you could lie to them, but...
Oh, so it's like the Mandalorian. Have you taken off your helmet? Has anyone else taken off your helmet?
Every time you go to church, you have to answer these questions?
No. But it's I think it's yearly. You got to renew it yearly. They're like, are you worthy? And then you're like, probably. And then they're like, okay, you can get in there. But probably.
Where did you go on your whatever the fuck it is, where you go around to different countries and... your mission. Oh.
I didn't. I joined the military. So.
Oh, good mission. Different kind of mission.
Yeah, I
Done more.
you have to pay for a mission. So it's not like you go, because they're 2 years, and then you go wherever they send you, but like you have to pay for that. Like that comes out of your pocket. I was like, I don't want to pay.
But you're a child.
So instead of like a college fund, your parents do like a mission fund?
Yeah. 'Cause you're going now. It used to be, I think you couldn't go until you didn't go until you were like 20. I think it was 19 or 20. Now it's 18. So dudes like graduate high school, go on a 2-year mission, and yeah, like they save up. Like since they were kids, they like save to go on a mission. So,
Interesting.
you guys know how I am about finances. I would never do that.
Not a really cool question. Comparing temple access to another type of popular access. Dalton, you want to cover that? I'd hate to steal your question.
Oh, no. Go ahead, Devin. Go ahead. Whole you.
So would you say that temple access is actually like more exclusive than like the Delta Sky Lounge or Centurion?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely harder to get.
Kind of nuts.
I'm just confused why you're not having your wedding at the temple.
Because they won't let me in.
Why do so many people have their like? Is it free? Like, but I mean, I can see maybe like the free thing, but like, why else? Like, what's the big draw there?
Because like the Mormon, like the belief is that when you get married in the temple, that when you die, like you'll be together forever. So basically, if you don't get married in the temple when you die, like you're not going to heaven with your spouse and your kids and whoever else. So like,
So let's say you were still like super Mormon, right? And you were having your wedding in the temple. Your boys wouldn't be able to go to the actual ceremony.
yeah, no, you guys wouldn't be able to come to the wedding. You could come to the reception afterwards, but you couldn't come in. My sister got married in the temple, and I couldn't. Like, I just stayed outside, and then when they came out, I high-fived them.
Can't your this is a little bit of a I got a technical question. Just because some of the things I've heard and read. But isn't there a way of a pool of, or I think is what they call it, where you go in and they pray, or they sacrifice names or something, and you can eventually be reunited with your other, right? Isn't that a thing? You know what I'm talking about? Like for people that are unsaved, that are not part of the Mormonism?
Baptisms for the dead, yes.
Yes, that is what I was talking about.
So that's like a controversy with people.
Oh.
It's just like people that died, but they never like volunteered for that. So that's just like Dalton dies. Dalton dies of vaping in a year, and then at some point,
I suck it, and you're like, nah, dog.
Yeah, and then at some point, some 14-year-old Mormon kid is going to pull a name, and it says Dalton Boyd, and he's going to baptize him.
All right, so that's not going in my will. If I die before you guys, I want to be But I, Tyler, baptized into the Mormon
I
temple.
can't go in.
Yeah, we can. Well, I only know this because apparently I got my name added to this pool, and I didn't even know. And I didn't want my name added, but apparently I'm added into some pool somewhere, and I'm now potentially gonna get put into another religion that I've never believed in my life. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't necessarily understand. It's one of those things, like I was like around it
Yeah.
in Utah, and it's just a super normal thing. And then once I like moved out of Utah and then looked back on it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's a weird thing.
What's up with like church-based financials, like you mentioned, right? Like the mission thing was kind of a no-go for you because you're like, I'm not paying for that. So like, I feel like I see a metric fuck ton of like bloggers and like internet celebrities that are Mormon or like start their own business or own a house. Like, does the church help people with that stuff at all or anything? Like, they all
No.
have money. They all do
That would be
really good
Scientology.
job, really
Scientology
good
gives
job
help for that
security.
shit.
That's what I'm wondering, like, really good job security in Salt Lake City, or like, what's going on?
No, they don't help as far as that. Like, I mean, they provide jobs to people that they do. It's like Goodwill, but Desert Industries, or the DI, is like it's the same as Goodwill, and like they employ people and like help them out and like provide food and stuff for people that are struggling. But as far as like stuff for like monetary stuff, they don't. Not that I'm aware of.
So did you leave because they don't let you? So did you leave because they don't let you drink on Sundays?
They don't let you drink, Dalton.
Oh. Okay, so question again. You left because they don't let you drink. Was that it? Was that the kicker?
I was 14, so I don't
Oh,
think
sick.
that was the major
To a different realization.
I mean, one of the big things was, it was like, what is it called? It's like their code of conduct for, I'm blanking on what it's called, but like no drinking, no smoking, no tobacco, no alcohol, they don't drink. I think it says hot drinks, so that encompasses like tea, coffee, and my 14-year-old self was like, I don't understand why I can drink a Monster and just be bouncing off the walls, but I can't drink a cup of coffee. And they were like, it is what it is. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So
There's over here punching holes in drywall in the temple.
I think if correct me if I'm wrong there, Mr. Pickles. But back to the squirt blockers point, they do value higher education, and there's actually a lot of education pieces in the Mormonism, as like you need to be very educated to the, because eventually you ascend and you rule your own. From what my small understanding, you rule your own kingdom, right? You like rule your own world, or you're god of an own society and stuff.
Yeah, that's I've heard like different people kind of interpret it differently, but yeah, that's definitely one of the like interpretations. So, and yeah, I mean, and then you have like BYU, Idaho, BYU Hawaii. You don't have to be Mormon to go there, but most people that aren't Mormon aren't gonna go there because they have like super strict codes of conduct.
So,
my favorite TikTok accounts is this guy walks around BYU and asks funny questions.
I need to watch this.
Dude, it's so good.
I'm instantly googling it. What is it
Walk
called?
around and be like, "What's your favorite swear word?" And like 80% of the like college kids are like, I don't do that," or "I'm not gonna answer that," or like the S word, probably, or I like using heck, and then they'll like be like, "Wait, are you gonna post this on the internet?"
Mr. Pickles, I actually have a super important question about Mormonism that I've seen on TikTok. Soaking.
That was gonna be my next topic.
What is
So soaking is the practice because you can't have premarital relations and everything, right? So if person A inserted their genitalia in person B, and then the person underneath them on the bunk bed starts kicking up and down, because technically they're not actually doing it. So
Yeah, apparently it's a real thing. I don't know, but I just, what if you got, imagine getting pregnant from doing that and just being like, damn, like that was it. That was all we did.
Oh wow, I love it.
Like, we didn't actually have sex. We just soaked. God gave us this baby.
It's
a miracle. What what wasn't there like a really good like college basketball player that got a BYU for that, Ailers? Is that right?
Yeah, Jimmer Fredette. He went and played. He played for the Sacramento Kings, I think, for a while, and then ended up going. I think he plays in like a European or an Asian league now.
What was his college thing, Pickles?
What do you mean?
What was the thing that happened to him? I can't remember.
It was like one of the best players, college players in college basketball at the time. He was dropping threes like 4 or 5 feet off the 3-point line, and it was just killing it. And then I think he was their starting point guard that year, so everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to." I think I don't watch basketball. Is it Sweet 16 or whatever? They're going to the like top bracket for March Madness.
The TV show, but yeah.
And then he got. Did he get kicked out for soaking?
Point guard got kicked off the team right before the finals because he got his girlfriend pregnant, who was like a cheerleader there, and they both got kicked out of BYU for it. And then he wasn't allowed to play in the championship, So I think they made it one of the higher brackets for March Madness, and then they lost their starting point guard, and then ended up not going as far as they probably should have. So
How many times
Yeah,
have you
BYU
soaked in your
serious.
life?
I mean, what?
How many times have you soaked in your life?
I have never done that, so
Okay.
seems like a waste.
What's your take on other religions?
On other religions, I'm
Loaded question.
Very open.
yeah. I mean, I would consider myself agnostic. Like, I'm not going to be like, there's no God, there's no religion, but I've yet to find something that just like definitively proves that there is. But as long as they don't, like, I have no like issues with Mormons. I think Mormons in Utah can get a little wild, like. But overall, I think the religion, like, they help a lot of people and they have good intentions. Same with Christians, same with whoever. Like, so I'm like, if you're happy, you can live your life, and like you're not hurting other people or trying to murder them because they don't believe the same thing. Then like whatever. But once it starts crossing the lines of like interfering with other people's lives, then I'm like, all right, maybe don't do that.
How does like having that large of a population of like one single religion that is rather like on the strict side, like how does that affect the economy or the culture?
It's horrible on Sundays because you can't buy any alcohol.
Well, when I went to like Japan, right, like if you're walking around Tokyo, like it's legal to drink beer, but because nobody does it, like that's why it's legal, because nobody ever does it. So if you're walking around Tokyo drinking a beer, like people are like staring at you like this guy's a degenerate. It's just not something we do in our culture. So like, how does I imagine like going to high school and like teachers being extremely Mormon, right, and like seeing like being the one kid in class to drink a hot drink, or what's it like going to stores?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting better, but it's weird because the neighborhoods, like the communities, everyone that goes to church all knows each other, and it's super tight. So if you're not part of that, like you could live in a neighborhood, and like all the Mormon kids are going to hang out together, and the kids that aren't Mormon are going to kind of get excluded. But it's starting to balance out. Like Utah has one of the best economies in the U.S. And it's like known as like one of the best places to live. So tons of people are moving there and buying houses and stuff. So I think it's starting to like level out, but definitely see it. Politics, like how slow they've been to legalize weed, like the influence of the Mormon church is definitely in like government and school systems and everything else. So for sure, you see it, but
I'm going for the first time in March, so I'm pretty excited to see what it's like. And people are calling it the Silicon Slopes. You know, it's like the next spot for tech over there. So we'll see what it's like.
I love Utah. Love it.
Utah's awesome. I've always had a great time in Utah. Salt Lake City's beautiful too.
Except
Even like
In and Out in Salt Lake City, absolute fucking garbage, literal trash. I love In and Out. Don't get me wrong. Literally my favorite place But in Salt Lake City, that was the worst fucking thing I've ever had. And I get why people hate it, because they're like, yeah, I've only had In-N-Out in Dallas, or I've only had In-N-Out in Salt Lake City. And it's like, it's shitty there. It's super shitty there.
Call him out, Dalton. Call him out.
I am. I am.
So I got another good one. Have you, and kind of, maybe, this is questionably a loaded question. Have you seen Book of Mormon, and what did you think of it?
I love
I
it.
saw it in London, and it was amazing. Like, I was dying. And then the girl that I went and saw it with was like knew nothing about the Mormon religion and was still like dying. Like, they did such a good job of portraying like what Utah's like, and it was amazing because they're not just like talking shit. They were able to like slide those jokes in and make it hilarious to where even I know a bunch of my Mormon friends went and saw it and thought it was hilarious. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we do that. Like, oh, okay, you know. But yeah, super well done. I don't know if it's still. I don't think it's still on Broadway, is it?
I think it is. I think it's back in the U.S.
I think
since
so.
COVID stopped.
Yeah. I saw it in New York on Fifth Ave or wherever the fuck it is in Broadway, and that was an amazing fucking thing.
Yeah. No, it's hilarious. I mean, anything by the dudes from South Park are gonna be golden. So.
Speaking of South Park, have you guys watched the new season yet, or the first new episode?
I haven't watched South Park since I was like in high school.
First of all, it's
Like,
hilarious.
No one has cable anymore.
Yeah.
Either.
Well, no, it's on HBO.
Oh.
Every week on HBO. Yeah. It is it's making a stab. I mean, if you guys aren't gonna watch it, I don't know if you are or not, but it's making a stab at like COVID, right? And so the first episode that came out last week was they are having PJ Day, where the whole town is wearing PJs, but PJs are symbolic for masks, right? And some people don't want to wear PJs, some people do want to wear PJs. And so the whole time they have this news announcer, and slowly throughout the episode, he keeps saying, what is this, Nazi Germany? And it keeps going more and more like that. And at the end of it, he's in full World War II, like Nazi outfit, speaking in German. And it was so fucking funny.
Those guys.
But also, speaking of Germany and moving into our next topic for the last segment of the podcast is Ukraine.
We are going there.
So, Bees is
I don't know anything about it.
But Bees is, you've been busy though, preparing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be fine. I'm not gonna be doing anything, but it's kind of crazy with what, over 100,000 troops on the Ukraine border. Germany going back and forth, whatever they're saying. They're not going to support NATO. They are going to support NATO. They are going to send stuff. They're not going to send stuff. China and Russia officially announced their allegiance. So
Allegiance.
yeah,
I mean, there's support.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
No,
it's key. I think
I saw that about the allegiance thing.
yeah.
It was like an news article that said that Putin and Jin Long or whatever, the prime minister of,
Kim Jong Un. I mean,
They
wait, wrong place.
yeah, they like shook hands and said we support each other.
yeah. I mean, ultimately, you got to realize that there's a lot of geopolitics going on right now, especially in the world, especially post-COVID, as we're coming out of the COVID curve, I think. And I'm by no means a geopolitician, but you do have to realize that you have the NATO alliance, which is a lot to do with the East, which involves the United States and about 34 different countries. Don't quote me exactly.
I'm quoting you.
Yeah, sure. But you got to realize that there's also, so when you look at what's going on with troop movement, from what